Question about fractional reserve banking and Islamic banking. Allah is Al-Razak. He is He who creates wealth, Al-Ghani. And in the Quran He says that He is Badi as-samawati wal-ard. He's not only Fatir, He's not only Khaliq. Khaliq is the one who creates. Fatir is the one who originates from point of origin. But Badi is more than that. Badi as-samawati wal-ard means He creates from nothing. Only Allah creates from nothing, creates wealth from nothing. But our enemies today are creating money from nothing, thanks to the scholars of Islam. Thanks to the scholars of Islam, who will not raise their voice. None of them will raise their voices. Praise be to Allah for one or two. The Imam of Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem just made a statement. He agrees with me on money, alhamdulillah. What the enemy does is that he is creating wealth out of nothing. Fractional reserve banking is one of the ways in which to do it. That if a bank has so much money in its books, it has 10 ringgits in its books, it owns 10 ringgits. Don't ask me how it got the 10 ringgits. Huh? That's a different story. Now it can lend the 10 ringgits on interest, which of course is haram. But the bank does not lend 10 ringgits on interest. It lends 1,000 ringgits on interest. So where the other 990 ringgits came from? It came out of thin air. It is wealth created out of nothing. And if you create wealth out of nothing, you're playing God. Do you need a PhD to understand shirk? Huh? Or are you waiting for fatwa from Mufti? Well, you better find a comfortable sofa to sit down and wait for that fatwa, because it'll never come. But now, it's not, that's only part of the subject. How did the bank get the 10 ringgits? What our enemy did was to take what Allah made halal and declare it to be haram. If you declare haram what Allah declared halal, is that shirk? Is that shirk? If you don't know it, then go and pick up your Quran, Surah At-Tawbah. Yes, it is shirk. And that's what they did. And if you accept it and follow them in it, you are also in the shirk, the monetary system. The Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund that prohibited the use of gold as money. The Quran and the Sunnah declare gold and silver halal as money. The IMF declares gold haram as money. That is shirk. There are a number of reasons why they prohibited the use of gold as money. But they have never given those reasons. And if you ask them, why have you made gold prohibited, they'll never tell you why. Never. Up to now, you'll not find any written document anywhere. 2 days ago in our conference on riba, My lecture is on the internet now. You will find where I offered some explanation why they prohibited the use of bogus money. And one of the reasons was so that they could introduce their bogus money and have their bogus money stable. If you have gold alongside the bogus money will collapse. So they started printing paper and then giving to the paper a fictitious value. But this is not taught in any university today. No university will tell you what I've just told you. No, they will never use this language. You probably lose your job. You print the paper and you give the paper a fictitious value. If that is not haram, what is haram? What Dr. Mahathir just pointed out recently is that now they have reached that stage where they don't want to print the paper anymore, because they want to put $7 trillion more into the banking system. And it'll take a long time to print $7 trillion. A lot of printing machine, a lot of paper, a lot of ink, a lot of armored cars and security guards and police motorcycles to transport it. It is much easier for the Federal Reserve to simply write a check and send it to the banks. And then the banks will insert $7 trillion more into their books. And then the banks, like the IMF, will approach, hello, President Morsi, are you there? I hear Egypt wants an IMF loan. We could lend you $4 billion. I mean, we just got $7 trillion. But in order for you to get this $4 billion, there are conditions you've got to meet. These are the conditionalities. Amongst them is you got a 2-hour line. Economic enslavement spells political servitude. And you got to bow down to Dajjal and act in accordance with our commands so that Israel will survive. So it's fictitious money. And they're lending you fictitious money on interest. When they lend the money to you, and you enter into a legal agreement to pay back, then it becomes a part of the money system. Unless they lend it to you, it simply remains in the books. But after they lend it to you and you accept the loan, and a legal obligation to repay, now it becomes money. Is Islamic banking doing anything to prevent this? Is Islamic banking even recognizing the paper and plastic and electronic money to be bogus and fraudulent and haram? Dr. Mahathir shows better understanding than the muftis. No, Islamic banking has not raised even a little finger. Not even a little finger to expose the monetary system as bogus and fraudulent and haram, and to call